Hi, my name is Len, and this is my very first YouTube video. I've been watching a lot of YouTube over the past couple of years as I prepared to retire from my career in corporate life. And I am about 12 days away from retirement and said, well, it's time to start doing some of the things I have interest in trying out in retirement. So here we are, my first video, and I haven't thought of a name for my channel yet. Maybe it will emerge as time goes on, but I thought I'd start with sort of an easy topic, which is who I am and one of my hobbies that I enjoy with my wife, which is gardening. And we're at a very nice time of the year, although it's really hot here. I live on the East Coast in the Philadelphia region, and today will be in the mid 90s, and today is June 19th, Juneteenth. And I want to take a little trip around our garden and show some of the things that we have in our garden, which we do spend a lot of time in taking care of on our own. So as I mentioned, my name is Len. I've worked in corporate life now for close to 40 years. I have a doctorate in organic chemistry and been involved with chemistry ever since I was an undergraduate, and took it on as a professional career. In one way or another, I've stuck with it over the years, either in research or in manufacturing or other activities like procurement and so on, which I've really enjoyed. And now that part of my life is about to be left behind me, and I'm looking at what is my next purpose in life. I believe one of those will probably end up be teaching at one of the local universities, but I'm sure I'll be looking at others as time goes on, and certainly open to suggestions any of you out there might have. So I thought maybe I'd take a little walk around our garden and provide a voiceover as I go. Although you won't be able to see me, you'll be able to see some of the views of our garden. So maybe I'll do that by flipping the camera around here. And here we go with the garden. It's a bit sunny. It's going to take a moment to focus in. So here's the vegetable garden. I'm standing in a bit of a shady spot right now. A little bit of an area of our yard where we have a lot of tree cover and some foliage that blocks out the other areas. So behind us, we have actually a synagogue behind our home, and good neighbor, quiet, but we try to block the view with some foliage. And so just walking around our garden, I'll start with the vegetable garden first. So this is our vegetable garden. Fairly good size, not overwhelming, but we have a number of plants. Our tomatoes in our raised boxes here. And in the back we have some more tomatoes that grow up the netting or the vines, more of a vine-like tomato that grows up the netting. And then in the far back there, in the third box back, we have some cucumbers and maybe even some beans and stuff. A grapevine growing on the back wall back there, fairly extensive. A couple of blueberry bushes in the back corner. And I believe in these, what were intended to be tomato rings we used last year. My wife's growing some beans. And then in the middle box there, which I'll walk around a little bit more, just passing by one of our rose bushes there, some strawberries. So we have some strawberries we started this year, which won't yield any harvest until next year. We did do some installation of some drip irrigation this year. We got off of Amazon. Really very easy to set up system. We just simply have it piped into this timer with a certain time of day with a garden hose. And then the garden hose then attaches right into the very quarter-inch line irrigation system, if you can see that black piping there, and it runs along the beds, and the tubing comes off on the side, and there are spray heads embedded within the garden that provide a nice spray. And probably takes a total of, maybe for this garden, maybe 45 minutes to install. And the biggest tool you're using probably is a pair of scissors and a little Bic lighter to help where you do the attachments to the devices, so you spray heads, so you can soften the plastic a little bit and attach them a little bit more easily. So that's kind of a quick view of our vegetable garden, I'll call it. Now we maybe go to a little bit more of the colorful side of things. Of course, here's one of our rose bushes here. My wife very much likes her roses. We've struggled with them over the years, not so much for the insects. I think we manage that well. It's more from just the robustness of the rose and you know, planting them in the right spots, having them in a good sunny spot, and so on. So here's one of our many clematises. I think we must have about 10 or 12 clematises around the yard. One of my wife's favorite plants. Another rose bush in the corner there, a little storage shed. We got another rose bush now that's coming into bloom. If I pan across the yard sort of to where our driveway area is, but at the top of the driveway we have this arch, again with this clematis that's making its way up and over the arch. Unfortunately, we've tried to plant a few things on the other side of the arch, and just due to the diminished sunlight later in the afternoon, we haven't had real good success of getting things to grow on that side. So maybe this year the clematis will make it up and over. We'll see. Just panning around the yard, just give you a view of the kind of backyard. We have a fairly deep backyard. It goes back all the way back to that synagogue property, which you really can't see this time of year due to the foliage on the trees. Comes through a little bit better or more in the winter months. But you know, fairly large yard. We do have a lawn service that will come and cut the grass. A little bit too much for me to do on my own with a lawnmower. Maybe in my retirement I'll think about buying a you know, a lawn cutting machine, or you know, riding lawnmower, to see how that works. So here's a new peach tree we planted this year, and keeping an eye on it to keep it watered, and kind of a next generation tree. We have another one that's given us a lot of good fruit over the years, but getting a little long in the tooth, as they say, and thought we'd start another one before the current one sort of gives up the ghost on providing fruit. Again, another rose bush that we have here, some beautiful yellow roses right up near the house here, panning across to our patio. We have a seating area here. We take cushions in and out depending upon whether we have visitors or not during that particular day. We have a little fish pond here we installed, must be 16, 17 years ago. And it provides a nice, peaceful area in the yard here, just to sit back here and listen to the water. We do keep a variety of different pond goldfish, and I've lately started to stocking it with koi. I don't know if you can notice, I do keep blueberry netting over it, since we do have a blue herring that likes to come and visit us occasionally. And you can have some delicacy meal there. And it would be an expensive one for me if he gets a hold of some of those koi. And just to give you an idea of some of the fish there, you can see one of the koi swimming around. And I don't know how that will come through in a video, but you can see the fish. And they tend to eat better in the evenings after the sun's off the pond, so I usually feed them then. So panning around the yard, we have some of our daisies in bloom here, some of our other irises that have already finished blooming. These are bearded irises. Japanese snowbell tree needs a bit of shaping. Some of the other garden areas, wind spinner, a bird feeder I have there with one of those cameras. And then you can see more of our clematises. We have a little bit of not a trellis, pergola there, I guess you call it. And you can see that out of the three, there's one on the back corner there. Two of the three are very much in bloom. There's a different type of vine on the fourth corner there, which you really can't see right now. A couple of patio plants here, and then again we have various other colorful plants here in the yard that are, you know, well in bloom right now, and some additional hanging plants and colorful. So the yard's very colorful right now with yellow and pinks and oranges and reds. and just a very pleasant time to be out in the garden, especially in the evenings when the sun goes down a bit. We're sort of looking more towards the, I guess, southwest or southeast at the moment. East is a little bit more to my left. We're almost looking directly due south right now, the way the camera's pointing. And some additional green foliage there. All of this we planted on our own over the years. And again, the clematis just look beautiful this time of year. So kind of continuing around the yard here. With all the vegetation, the greenness, walking down one of our little paths we have here in the yard. This is some rows of Sharon here that have yet to bloom. They'll come out a little bit later in the season. Just some, not boxwoods, but types of hollies, I think, here on my right as I walk through the yard. We have some hydrangeas right now that are pretty much in full bloom. Nice white blooms there on the hydrangea. A Kwanzan cherry, which is finished blooming for the year, that blooms pretty much in the early spring and provides a lot of shade right now in the front part of the yard. We've kind of come around the side of the house now, almost looking directly due north based on the way the camera is looking at the moment, sort of towards our mailbox and Japanese cut leaf maple here. Some already finished flowers that have bloomed. Geez, I forgot the name of them right now, but well, peonies. Yeah, peonies that have bloomed. Some small annual flowers here, evergreens. Getting ready for 4th of July with some of our decorations out. We're planning to have a picnic around then. Some more peonies that have finished blooming. Front porch area, which is a little shadier around this side of the house. Various evergreens. A Merlot redbud here, if you can let me back up a little bit. Merlot redbud in the front yard. Gets some very nice blooms in the early part of the year, some flowers. Again, some peonies, and just a general sense for the yard, it's the property itself, you know, walking around and taking a little tour of the greenery. And then the side yard over there, where again we have more lawn. It goes around fairly far. We live on a cul-de-sac, and we live at the top of the cul-de-sac. We have a pretty irregular shaped lot, but it's significant enough that we can do a lot of planting on the lot. We have a lot of greenery, but it does take a lot of effort and time to keep it up. But something we enjoy. It keeps us healthy and outdoors, and tend to do it either early in the mornings or later in the evenings when the sun's not quite as at its peak time during the middle of the afternoons. Just too hot for us to be working outside sometimes. And then you get the pleasant days here and there. So that's a little bit of a view now of the clematises and stuff from now the other side of that archway I was talking about before. But nice little archway there, and you can see again that tool shed behind there as well too. And we have a magnolia tree here which needs a bit of trimming, and a quince bush just in front of it, which is already bloomed for this year. Does give us fruit occasionally. We don't really eat it too much, but it does produce actual quince for us. So that's a little tour of our property and sort of the end of my first video. I will become a more skilled user of my video system here as time goes on. I don't really know how to turn the camera around as I'm taping, but oops, I'm playing with my zoom feature there and just realized that you just tap it and it kind of goes back and forth. And there's a vegetable garden. So thanks for joining me, my first YouTube video. And not sure when I'll do a second one, but I need to think of a few topics. If people have a suggestion or two, I would love to hear it. And it could range for a number of different topics, given my career background, to just my thoughts on going into retirement. So thank you.